inhibits production further.
If it is relatively easy to see that this then stifles production, that this then essentially stifles productivity and stifles development, then why would you go for something like that when an entire manufacturing, because this is not about manufacturers just being on the wailing end and saying that, you are actually making it difficult for us to do business. Because like you said, raise it by 1,000%. The person who's going to suffer or the person who's going to pay for it is the consumer at the end of the line. And as the consumer, we're going to say, well, this is becoming too expensive. We're essentially going to either stop consuming, stop purchasing, and that puts the manufacturer back in the doldrums, right? So if this is so clear to be seen, we can see it, that it is clear that this is actually a stifler to development and production. Why would you go ahead with it?
I think is what I mentioned, that the policy making, because these are policy, is a political process. It's not economics. If you look at it, it's not just pure economics. It's political economy, right? But we understand where the government is attempting to deal with. And initially last year, they attempted to do the cost of cooking oil by bringing in cooking oil. It didn't work, right? Now the attempt to say, this $1.2 billion that we spent to bring in CPO, we're going to grow it ourselves. I said, okay, granted. Should we now sit down and work on a framework how that is going to work? Because you can give farmers sunflower seeds, 35 counties, 47 counties. What are they going to do with it?
Sure.
We still have poor people who are planting maize, and we don't have maize for milling. Everybody's planting maize, but they're still poor.
It's not enough.
So what makes the sunflower a magic crop? It's not going to happen because you need production capacity. Someone comes and say, okay, can we bring our guys together so that we have, people doing crude oil all over the country, and then you take the crude oil and say, look, it's not that simple. The capacity to do sunflower is there. Show us where is the sunflower. We take over it 100%. But you see, that's not the conversation. The conversation is that you're going to have women group, doing cooking oil all over.
Cooperatives, and then
cooperatives are doing
counties
that.
Offering
and then
seeds.
They do what with it?
So essentially, it really does look as though we can say that there's a desire for the manufacturing agenda to be at the very top of the priority list, but that's just in word. And it does look as though, again, unfortunately, there is a cabal, it could be a community of businesses or individuals then, who will benefit directly. But across the board, if we look at development across the country, whereby we say sunflower, for example, do you have a capacity? Yes, there's a capacity. How is it going to work? Well, we're not really going to bother with that because the interest really is not there. We can say it, but we're not going to put in the necessary machinery to make sure that it actually works. So even when you have a bill like this, that it really is not for the benefit of the country at large.
What you're saying makes perfect sense, but consider if we were to use the word benefit contextually, all the things that we say or we are informed were supposed to have been done, the lingering effect that we see has very little good in it. What you see is a situation that previously was thriving, taking a downward spiral. So if there was a benefit, it was like dew just before the sun comes up. One moment it's there, you see it, then the next moment it's actually not there.
But is somebody not benefiting? Somebody somewhere is benefiting. But what we're saying here is that the idea or the science behind having a finance bill or the science behind developmental production agenda is that for the country at large, across board, whether you have your small scale, middle scale, large scale production or manufacturers, to benefit across board. Even if you do want to collect taxes for the country then to move forward and do this through everybody at whatever level that they are at, being able to succeed.
You're actually right.
But that's not happening.
No, not happening. It is not going to happen.
That's exactly. So it's like it's pre-designed to fail. And we are sacrificing the development of a nation and its manufacturing capabilities on the altar of self-interest of a few.
I just wanted to follow that line of thought. And I believe that His Excellency the President means well, because, and I have said in Ghana, and actually when making my address, I said, Your Excellency, the value chain approach that you've taken in the plan was actually a masterstroke. And we actually ourselves looked at that approach. We came up with a fourth pillar called agriculture for industry. Because you cannot talk about agriculture without talking about agro-processing. So we said A for I, agriculture for industry. And it was purely to support and say, farmers are here, agro-processors are here, they don't know each other. The farmer is crying, start to plant with eyes closed, don't know who will buy the product. The agro-processor powers the factory in January, doesn't know whether they're going to get the raw materials. We are trying to bridge this gap. And I'll just give you a small example. On a small value chain called peanuts. And we say peanuts because they're just peanuts, right? Njugu. Peanuts.
Oh, okay.
Now, peanut processing is a big deal, right? It's a small value chain, but it's a big deal. We import peanuts for industrial processing from Malawi, Argentina, Brazil, India.
We import peanuts.
Peanuts.
For what?
Karanga. For peanut butter, and other products. Right?
Okay.
Now, this is 5 billion industry. But it's a small value chain, right? Malawi is a country of about a tenth of our GDP. But we buy 90% of our peanuts from there.
Wow.
Now, guess what? It's Kenyans who went and helped Malawi organize the value chain. So what have we done? What have we done? We've said, if you go to Migori, you go to Homa Bay and go to other counties, and you visit someone, when you're leaving, they give you a gorogoro. They give you a gorogoro of peanuts.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
But yet we don't have peanuts for industrial production.
Because?
Because we have not organized ourselves. The same thing. Now, what have we done? We've gone to Homa Bay and say, County of Homa Bay, Your Excellency the Governor, you're very progressive. We like the way you're working. Let us work together. Come to Boardroom. We bring our members who are in this value chain. Let's debate together. Let's work on this small value chain.
Right.
As we're speaking now, we have farmers planting the right grade of peanuts in Homa Bay. And our members are going to offtake it 100%.
So they are like contract farming.
Contract farming. Right? We organize that. And I just want to play back in sorghum. Sorghum is one of those forgotten crops. EABL came and organized that value chain.
Yeah.
The farmers who are doing sorghum today can go to the bank, borrow money because there is a contract.
Yeah.
And they are earning 3 billion shillings. So what is so different with sunflower? Because we actually said, show us, where is this one sunflower? Show us. We're going to buy it 100%. But now, when you put these levies, it's not going to help anybody. Because before those local and small-scale SMEs build the capacity, how long is that going to take?
So you need a number of years. Basically, you're saying, let's work X number of years ahead.
Yes.
And start now and say, by 2028, we'll start now increasing the levies because we have increased our local capacity.
Exactly. Now, what did Uganda do? Uganda, and sometimes we sit here in Kenya and think we are very strategic. But actually, we are losing that. Right. Uganda, a few years ago, they came to our members and said, you guys, you're processing cooking oil, come, we'll give you land. So one company went, got 30,000 acres of land for $1. $1.
Free.
Because they know the value. You're going to go deploy a lot of capital to plant palm oil and start processing. Very soon we start importing cooking palm oil from Uganda. Duty free, because you can impose duty on them. Now they've opened another 30,000 acres. So they're talking about 60,000 acres
of palm.
Tell me, where are you going to get that kind of land here? And even if you plant palm oil today,
we have land.
Where is it?
There's a place called Galu, not very far away from
I mean, you can plant.
Galana Kulalu.
Yeah.
Galu.
Yeah, palm oil cannot grow in some of these ecological zones. So,
but in Homa Bay, if you organize the farmers, you can then get
now, which is a very different business model.